Hello all you beautiful people and welcome back to the channel. I am recording the screen on my phone, so please disregard the quality here. I went to go turn on this wheel today. It turned on fine. I was at the park. I pressed the kill switch button there. I rolled it back into the kickstand, well, rolled it forward onto the kickstand. And as I came back from the bathroom, a minute and a half later, I went to go right it, and it heavily jerked a few times, tried to take off for a second, and it just shut off. I've been told by two Begode reps that it is the firmware and I need to update to the newest firmware. Well, the problem is this wheel no longer turns on at all. Another thing I want to note to everybody that may want to get this wheel is if you look here, there's a recessed channel in the metal extrusion that is the whole top of this wheel, and this here is my top cover. I don't know if you guys see anything missing between the two, but they completely forgot to install my seal on this wheel. So I don't know why you would go out of your way to make a charge port cover this water resistant and the buttons this water resistant if you're going to not install the actual gasket for the top of the wheel. Mind you, there is no water in this wheel. I have not, taken anywhere for it to get wet, so this is not a water issue. However, I wanted to point that out, that here we are with the Begode quality issues of, hey, if I would have never had this wheel shit out on me today, I would have never noticed the gasket was completely missing. Okay, so back to the point of two Begode reps think it is a firmware issue, and I have contacted LEM, EUC Underground, and have pointed out the issues here of, hey, the wheel won't turn on, it crapped out, people are saying it's the board. If you try to roll it, there's resistance to the motor. If you unplug the phase wires here or the motor controller wires, there's no longer resistance. And if you plug them back in, there's resistance. The crazy thing to me is if you unplug this cable here, sorry for the light in my garage, give me a second everybody. There we go. You unplug this wire here, just for the controller, and you unplug all four batteries, there's still resistance in the motor. If you unplug those wires, even if you push the power button and let the capacitors drain, there's no resistance. You plug the wires back in with everything unplugged, there's resistance. So they want to say it's a firmware issue, and when I try to power it on, hold it down for a second, let go, you can see that red light in there. Flashes a few times, it won't stay on, it slowly fades off. If I push and hold it, it just flashes and you can hear it slowly fade away. It will not stay on. If I continually press this button, which is the power button, to try to keep the wheel on, it will eventually have enough power to stay on. You heard the Bluetooth there. And the blue light will come on. And follow me, guys. Here's the app. Let me exit back out of everything here. I'm continually pressing the button. See how it said, sent notification successful, I'm connected. If I go back to the wheel here, come on, garage light, thank you. If I go back to the wheel, pushing it a bunch of times, blue light comes on, you could hear the speakers and the Bluetooth. If I go to the app, it'll pop up. Wait for it, there it is. It will eventually connect. However, if I go into the settings, it thinks it's my Begode A2. You hear the Bluetooth trying to connect again. If I go to the firmware update and go to Extreme Bowl, go to the Mini as they want me to, you can see there at the top of the screen. Even selecting Extreme Bowl and Commander Mini, it says A2 at the top of the screen. There's the Bluetooth again. Again, if I stop pushing this button repeatedly and I just hold it, it just dies off. That's my Begode A2. That is the last thing I was connected to before all this shit started with this wheel. Oh, for crap's sake. Motion light. Sorry, everybody. It's just my stupid motion light I installed as a very short timer. So you can see I can't connect to this wheel. I can't keep it on. And when I do keep it on and connect to it, it thinks it's that wheel. I do want to note that wheel is not currently on. It is completely off. I cannot connect to it. If I connect to that wheel and go to the settings and hit unbind equipment, so it is no longer connected, and then I keep pushing that stupid power button to get this to come on enough for it to connect to it, it thinks it's a Begode A2. I do want to note, I went to go ride this wheel last after screwing with all the settings trying to turn the speed beeps off on this wheel, and I had extreme pedal dipping or tilting, tilt back, extreme tilt back. Couldn't figure out why, so after 3 attempts I went into the app and went to the settings, and my tilt back was set to 7 miles an hour. Mind you, I have never messed with the tilt back on that wheel. I did on this wheel to test it for everybody to let you know if it worked, and it did not. I set it to 17, 25, 29, 30, 35, and even turned on the speed tilt back alarms, and every single time I could ride past that speed with no tilt back or alarms on this wheel. So why that defaulted to 7 miles an hour without me even connecting to it is beyond me. I changed it to 25, it fixed the pedal tilt back issue. However, we are now at the point that, I think my phone's overheating, that I have now connected to this wheel after it did its jerking auto turn off thing today, and it won't turn on. And again, if I try to power the button a bunch of times until it does, it thinks it's that fucking wheel. So, you know, it just really irritates me. I have the S22 Pro there. I have no issues with it. I had that stupid sticker issue that sounded like a bearing issue, and it does squeak, but no major issues. I have my Sherman S. No major issues. I have my M10-4, and I made the clip fixes to fix a stupid connector for the short wire problem. I've had no issues. A2, no issues. However, Marty broke his ankle on this wheel, so I'm a little scared to ride it everywhere. This wheel, I feel like I'm back to having my Master NT4 all over again. I don't even have 100 miles on it. Begode releases some cool new firmware everybody's got to try, and I, if you guys don't know, am very adamant about not upgrading wheels, because if anybody knows about the S22s and S22 Pros, practically every release of new firmware caused major issues with that wheel and the kill switch handle there. The very first ones, if you updated the firmware and had that handle down and turned the wheel on, it basically fried the board. And now we're at the same issue with this. I tilted it back per the kill switch, and it did its beeps. I tilted it back up, and now I have a DOA wheel. So I have a Commander Pro Mini that I was loving that is now completely unfunctional. I don't feel the need to make these videos. Begode has asked me to remove videos and content when I post like this because they say I should reach out to them first or my dealer first. But as a person that buys their wheels, that does not get demo wheels, that doesn't get free wheels, discounted wheels, whatever. I pay for all of my wheels. All of my wheels, I pay for them. I have every right to tell you guys how I feel about these wheels, what my experiences are with these wheels, how I recommend them or who I recommend them for, and I got to be open and honest with you. So again, you know, that wheel, I love it to death. It's a little scary to me now with Marty's incident. That wheel I love to death. It's a fun little wheel. That wheel is a very fat, very uncomfortable, but I love wheel. This wheel was growing on me. I made my first post. I said, you know, the suspension's crap. It's too stiff. One of my rods is fucking stuck. And I didn't like it that much. It was very big letdown out of the box. I rode it for 45 miles a couple of days later. I said, okay, it has its uses. It's a great wheel if you're going to do light trail riding and you're going to do street riding. Now, here we are. So people point out, oh, I'm wishy-washy, oh, I love a wheel, oh, I hate a wheel. Well, this is the honesty. This is the feedback that you guys are going to get. Honestly, if I was part of the community, I was on the Facebook groups, and I'm going to search for a wheel of whatever one I want to purchase, I would like to know if there's issues, if there's concerns, if there's points of interest or not. And here we are. So, again, it's my honest feedback. It's my experiences with the wheel. A lot of you also think I don't ride hard or I don't ride fast, because most of my videos I'm just casually cruising along talking to you guys. Like this video, I'm not doing anything crazy. However, I don't want to hold a selfie stick and ride at 45 miles an hour on off-road trails, because I appreciate my life and my wheel, and I would rather do that having fun without a selfie stick in my hand than get that video shot risking whatever just to post it in a video. So I ride these wheels how I want to ride these wheels. I put them through the ringer, and then I give you guys my feedback while I'm casually cruising around. So you've got cool scenery to look at, cool places I visited, whatever. So this wheel, again, has never been ridden in the rain, never sent through puddles. It's a brand new freaking wheel with less than 100 miles on it, and this firmware obviously completely shafted this wheel. So, don't update your wheels unless you feel absolutely, the need to do so. I don't know what firmware this is on. I'm part of the S22 group, and I see constant posts of, hey, have you guys tried the new firmware? I give a crap less. This wheel performs perfectly fine for me, and I have no issues. Why would I update it? Knowing the history back in the day, I don't need to. This wheel, took it out of the box, already had the new firmware, and figured might as well put the firmware on, or the new app, might as well put the new firmware on here so I could let you guys know if the tilt back works, if the tilt back alarms work, if there's any issues with it. And here we are. The tilt back worked on that wheel even though there was no new firmware for it, but the tilt back and tilt back alarms did not work for this wheel. It also was having issues where it was beeping at 17 miles an hour with open alarms, which should be 0 beeps. If you turned on alarms 1, it beeped at 17. If you turned on alarms 2, it beeped at 30. There was no way to turn the beeps off, so I just turned the volume all the way down because I was like, this is hella annoying. Why would I bother dealing with it? So, aside from the fact the firmware is now completely toasted the wheel, I can't turn it on to update the new firmware. The firmware is obviously causing problems with other wheels because that defaulted to 7 miles an hour without even connecting to the app. So again, if you don't need to update it, don't do it. If you have a perfectly functional wheel, why bother? The amount that Begode actually puts into these things has got to be like this much. It's all requests to some third-party company handling the app, handling the firmware, building the boards, and this is the crap people constantly deal with. So when it comes to, you might get way more power, it might have better torque, it might have more range. If your wheel functions for your needs, why do it? The EX30 had range problems. They made a new firmware where you could get it down to 96 volts, which helped increase the range. And this is the next wheel in line, and the lowest you could get this wheel to was 100 volts. Why reduce the range on this when you could get more range on the EX30? Because it allows you to go to lower voltage. This should easily go down to 96 volts with how much battery it has. But that's aside the point. So, sorry to make the video long, but, I'm just frustrated. I've reached out to Lem. I've reached out to 2 different people at Begode, and I would personally like a functioning wheel. I have others in the meantime, but the bullshit answers I'm getting back to fix this is what makes me the most frustrated. I can't update the goddamn firmware if the wheel doesn't turn on. I have sent them several videos now of this, and they keep telling me it's a firmware issue, which means I'm probably going to wait 2, 3, 4 weeks before I potentially get boards. And more than likely, knowing Pagode, they'll probably send me some stupid shit like this board and it won't work, and then they'll send me this board and it won't work, and then they'll send me this board, which obviously here there's no fried caps, no exploded caps, so that's not going to work. And then I'll probably get the board below that, which has all the MOSFETs on it, and that might work. All this takes time. All of this is BS back and forth. They send the parts to the dealer to be sent to you, which takes even more time than sending them directly to you. So this will probably be decommissioned for a very long time, which sucks because if a lot of you followed me on Facebook, I ordered one through James. It got held up by customs. I never got it. I got my money back. I ordered through Lem. It showed up. You know, by the time it showed up, Alien Rides now has it in stock. So I paid $600 to air freight this wheel for absolutely no reason, since they're in stock in the US now because of how long it took to get to me. And now I have an unrideable wheel. Less than 100 miles, $600 out the window, unrideable wheel. You guys make your decision. I'm going to go have dinner. So, you know, great wheel until it has problems. So, I hope you all enjoy the video. Sorry it was long. And as always, have a beautiful day, you beautiful people.